Hello, amazing listeners of the Becoming You podcast. So, this is the last episode for the month of March because this is the last Saturday in the month of March. And you know what that tells us? That tells us that we have successfully scaled through the first quarter of the year. You know, time flies, yeah. I was just thinking about it. And I said, we're going to talk about this in this episode. How far your goals? What have you done so far towards achieving your goals? Are you still pushing for it, or you've just given up? Or are you even yet to start working on your goals because you're yet to resume for the year? You know, I've heard people say things like they've not resumed for the year. You know, they'll say things like, oh no, they are still trying to wrap things up from the previous year. Anyways, I'm not here to pressure us in any way. I'm just here to talk to us about the need to hold ourselves accountable, you know, and stop making excuses. You know, before we dive into the conversation of the day, how are you doing, amazing listeners? Like as we used to do, right? Let me know how you're doing. How's your week going? Let me give you the rundown of what happened to me. So I had a relatively rough week. You know, when you're thinking about doing something and in your head you already have everything planned out, you already have the results in your head and everything just seems perfect, then you actually start doing it and you see that the process is different from what you've ever imagined. You're not even getting anything close to the results you actually had in your imagination. That's kind of week I'm having. I've just been met with so many unpleasant surprises. Really, during the course of the week, I was just discovering things that were getting me really infuriated, but that's going to be a story for another day. So I had a relatively rough week. So let me know in the comment section, how's your week going? You know, and happy Easter. I almost forgot. Why would I forget something like that? The reason for this season. So yeah, happy Easter, happy holidays. You know, are you spending time with your family? Are you going out with friends? I am really not doing anything. I'll try to cook something nice. Food gives me joy. So I just try to cook something nice and, you know, just try to find time to relax. But yeah, I'm not going anywhere. Let me know in the comment section. Let me know what your plans for Easter is and let me know how you're doing. I'm really concerned about that. And if you're listening to us for the first time, welcome to the Becoming You podcast, where we talk about the complexities of adulthood. I am your host, Bukola. Do not forget to hit the subscribe button and like if you truly enjoyed the video, and do not forget to share. Please share with your friends, share with your family, share with every adult you know that is just struggling to understand the space. Let's do it together. Well, now let's dive into the conversation of the day. Right before we dive in, let's hear what these amazing people think of the adulthood phase.
Adulthood is responsibility.
Adulthood is complicated.
Adulthood is growth.
Adulthood is maturity.
Adulthood is being independent.
Adulthood is stressful.
Adulthood has been confronting.
Adulthood is draining.
Adulthood is decision making.
Adulthood is resilient.
Adulthood is overwhelming.
Adulthood is fun and adventurous.
Remember, I'm not here to demonize this phase, but to say it as it is. We've established it on this podcast so many times that we are not supposed to rush ourselves. We're supposed to take things slow. We're supposed to take things a step at a time and, you know, just enjoy the process. At the same time, I think we've also established on this podcast that the baby steps are very, very important because little drops of water, they say, make a mighty ocean. Some of us came into the year with big goals, big dreams. You know, some of us came into the year so energized. We had this long list, or we still have this long list of goals, you know, things we hope to achieve in this year, things we hope to do in this year. Okay, so many things can actually stop us from achieving our goals. For some of us, it might be procrastination. You know, I'm going to do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll start tomorrow. And now you're 3 months in and you're yet to even start doing what you had plans of doing. So staying true to your goals actually takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of work. You have to be constantly fighting against procrastination. You know, for some people, it's procrastination that is stealing the time away from them. For some people, some unexpected things happened. You know, maybe things did not go as planned and you're just so confused on, you know, where to start from, you know, how to pick yourself up, you know, what to do. You know, for some people, they're just frustrated because they actually tried and they were unable to get the desired results. You know, for others, maybe it's distraction. Maybe they got distracted along the line and they're unable to just stay focused on their goals. You know, whatever it might be that is holding us back from achieving our goals, that is stopping us from achieving our goals, you know, that's making us feel stagnant. Subjecting ourselves to self-review is actually necessary for us to identify it, then find ways to overcome it. So technically, self-review is very, very important for our growth. Yeah, I understand the struggle really, because having this long list of goals can actually be very overwhelming. It can be very frustrating. The first quarter is over, and I think it's only right to do a quarterly review. Talking about holding ourselves accountable or reviewing ourselves. What is actually self-review? What is self-accountability? Because we really need to understand these terms so we know how to put them into practice. Let's start with self-accountability. So self-accountability is when we're able to take responsibility for our lives, for our actions, for our results, for our process. It's very easy for us to put the blame on other people. We can blame the internet, blame the country, blame our leaders, blame our parents, blame our friends. It's very easy for us to blame every other person but ourselves. It's also very true that external factors can sabotage our process, it can sabotage our growth. But I feel it's also very important for us to be truthful. Let's know how to identify when it's an external factor that is beyond our control. In order for us to hold ourselves accountable, for our actions, we need to just learn how to be very honest with ourselves, very truthful with ourselves. We're able to look in the mirror and say, okay, with this thing, you didn't do enough. With this thing, you could have been better. With this thing, you didn't give it your all. You didn't give it your 100, and you can do it. You can still do it. When I go to church for Bible and they raise prayer points okay, let's pray for all our enemies to die. Sometimes my mom gets very reluctant to pray this prayer, and in her defense, she always says she doesn't really pray for her enemy to die because she strongly believes that we are mostly our own enemies. Sometimes we're praying against the person holding us back, but in reality, we are the ones holding ourselves back. Let me give you an instance now. One of the goals I had written for this year, for instance, is to upscale my podcast. And I know that for me to do this, I need to put myself in people's faces. I need to put my podcast in people's faces. However, I keep making excuses for myself. I keep saying things like, I'm too busy to put myself out there. I'm too busy to put myself in people's faces. But it's what needs to be done for me to achieve what I need to achieve. At the end of the day, while I was doing my review, I just kept on asking myself, I know my excuse is actually quite believable. I'm actually busy. So I was just asking myself, are you really busy, or are you scared of something, or are you not prepared for something? I've had people tell me that, they're looking for jobs and they have not been getting responses. Then you ask them, how often do you tailor your CV to the requirements of the job? And they just tell you things like, I have just one CV. I really don't try to edit it. I really don't try to work on it. I'm sometimes also guilty of this, by the way. We cannot keep doing this because we understand now that the labor market is highly competitive. 1,001 persons are applying for the same job you're applying for. Everyone is praying to get that opportunity. What makes you different? What makes you stand out? What makes you exceptional? And I think we have to be brutally honest with ourselves. The other day I was scrolling through Twitter and I saw somebody kind of talking about what they had to do to get a job. People are going out of their way. People are going over and beyond. So you cannot just keep doing the barest minimum and you expect to get an exceptional result. That's one thing I've come to realize. We have to have these very hard conversations with ourselves because we cannot continue to do the same thing over and over and over again and expect a different result. It's not possible. On the other hand, self-review is actually when we assess ourselves. Self-review is when we check ourselves. Self-review is when we evaluate ourselves. So self-review is when we're going through our processes, we're going through what we did, what we did not do right, what could have been better. And self-review and self-accountability go hand in hand. Yeah. So the review comes before accountability. You have to actually think back. You have to reflect for you to be able to hold yourself accountable for doing something the way you did it, for getting the result you got or for not getting the result you desire to get. When we talk about review should be done as frequently as necessary, as frequently as possible. We're supposed to always constantly review ourselves. I am so used to reviewing myself. I review myself after perfectly executing a task because I want to know what I did well so I can continue to do it. I review myself when I'm going through difficult situations. I always try to review myself because when you review yourself, you're able to identify your strength, your weaknesses, you're able to identify opportunities for growth, and you're also able to identify possible threats that you need to take out of the way. I think it's my product management skills that is actually coming in right now. Quarterly reviews are very important. They're as important as the process of coming up with the goals and writing out the goals and, prioritizing the goals. They are very, very important because you have to measure your progress. You have to know how far you've come. You have to know what needs to be done, what you have to do. I did my quarterly review already and oh god, I have a long way to go. Let me just put it that way. I have a long way to go. I noticed that I have pushed some of the goals I had written down for the year backwards. I have abandoned some of them along the line, and I'm just 3 months in. But before I start scolding myself, let's give me some accolades. Let me celebrate myself for the goals I was able to achieve and for the things I was able to do. I noticed that while I was going through my goals and the list and everything, the spreadsheets, I noticed that subconsciously I had created this hierarchy of priorities. Okay, so some things I'm proud of actually for my consistency. Like I've been consistent with my podcast, giving you new episodes back to back every Saturday. Yay. I've been consistent with my mid social media participation. Mid is used to qualify my participation for a reason, and I'm proud of my time management. I think I've gotten really better with time management, with managing my time efficiently. I'm also very proud of my Duolingo French lessons. I have been staying true to keeping my streaks on fire. So yeah, I'm proud of my Duolingo lessons also, and God even brought this French class my way. I'll be starting a physical French class very soon, very, very soon, hopefully. What else? So yeah, in a nutshell, I feel like we should always celebrate ourselves, and I'm celebrating myself now by sharing my achievements with you. I'm happy and grateful about it. I wasn't able to tick off all the goals I had written for the first quarter of the year, but I made moves, and I'm identifying the moves I made. I'm sharing my progress with you because it's a way of celebrating myself. It's a form of celebrating myself. We really need to make celebrating ourselves a habit. Celebrating ourselves is very, very essential. While you're doing your review, you need to consciously try to identify everything you've done towards achieving your goal, no matter how small or irrelevant you think it is. So far you made a move. You might not yet have gotten to where you want to be, but you're moving. Celebrating ourselves can serve as a form of incentive for us to do more. Now, going to the weaknesses. While I was doing the review, I discovered that I have not been fierce enough with my goals and I need to do more. For me to meet my financial and academic goals, I need to push myself more. I need to do more. And also, I had some miscellaneous goals I was looking to achieve in the first quarter of the year, like learning how to dance and learning how to swim. But yeah, they're a bit unrealistic, and I just discovered I do not have the time and resources required for those two things now, and they're not on the top of my priority list. So I just have to move them backwards. So yeah, at least reviewing my process helped me discover areas I need to improve on, things I need to do differently. Reviewing our process might be hard, but it's necessary for us to see ways in which we can improve, especially if we're putting in the work towards achieving our goals and we're not getting the desired result yet. I think reviewing our process is very, very important because that way you're able to understand what's happening. So now let's go to opportunities. In this first 3 months, I accidentally did some things that I actually did enjoy doing, and I'm looking at getting better at them, and just trying to work more on them. When we review our process too, we have to put it in mind to actually check in the past 3 months, what did I do that I actually did enjoy doing. That way you're able to even know if your goal is actually your goal. Maybe you're just trying to copy and paste somebody, or maybe you're just trying to follow what should be and not what you want. Highlighting your new interests, your new hobbies, new opportunities you think you want to explore would actually help you in iterating your process. Goals are not meant to be static. Your plans are not meant to be static. They are meant to go with the flow. Things you wanted to achieve at the beginning of the year might have changed by now, and it's okay. So you actually have to review your goals so you can keep them updated. And it's very important for us to also identify if our goals are copy and paste or if they are truly ours, because if they're copy and paste, there's a very high chance that we might be unable to get it right, not because we're not doing the right things, but because we're not doing the things that are suitable for us. It's okay for us to look up to people. It's okay for us to want to be like people. But in as much as we're picking out things from those people's life that we want to do to be like them, I think we should also look at our situations, our interests, our personalities. Just try to just tailor those things, those habits, those mannerisms, those actions you want to incorporate into your life. Try to tailor them to suit your personality, to like fit your personality before living by them or before working towards them. So lastly, threats to our goals are actually roadblocks we dearly hold on to. Unnecessary things that are taking our time, taking our attention, that we hold on to dearly because we feel like they give us essence, we feel like they're very important to us, and we just feel like we cannot do without them. So like it's very important for us to identify these roadblocks, these things that do not align with your goals that you're holding on to, the job that does not align with your plans that you're holding on to, that job that is taking all your time and it's not like giving you time to do other things that really interest you. You really need to reevaluate yourself. Like, for how long do you want to really hold on to these things? For how long? I did something like that, and I did that kind of evaluation. I had to let go of something that really meant a lot to me. I just had to let go of it because I feel like at some points we have to like shed off some baggage to move faster. In a nutshell, what I'm trying to say is like when we do our reviews, we need to identify and learn to let go of things that are taking our time, things, people, habits, jobs, things that are making us feel busy but not fulfilled. Let's learn to let go of things that are making us unproductive, things that are making our efforts like feel fruitless. Let's just learn to let go. It's going to hurt us. It's not easy to let go. I won't even lie, it's not easy. But I think for our own wellness, for our own growth, for our own development, it's very important we understand how to like let go and know when to say no. Let's learn to filter the opportunities that we take, the kind of jobs we take, because some of them are just distractions. It's to save us from wasting time, energy, efforts, money. It's just save us from investing in the wrong places. So I think that'll be all for this episode. Amazing, wonderful, beautiful listeners of the Becoming You podcast, please endeavor to carry out your quarterly review. It is really, really important. It's to provide you with the necessary information needed to, re-strategize, rebrand, slow down, move fast, everything you need to know and how you need to like reposition yourself. You would only get this information from carrying out a review. And let's not be afraid to hold ourselves accountable, or better still, to take responsibility for our actions or for our development. I mean, we're adults now and we're responsible for ourselves. Let's normalize review. Let's normalize holding ourselves. Let's normalize celebrating ourselves. Try to get our hands dirty. Let's try to do the work. And I think that'll be all for today's episode. And I hope I've been able to ginger you and not pressure you to do your monthly or quarterly review. Do not be hard on yourself while at it. Just discover things that need to be changed. The year is still very young and it's not late for us to like fiercely conquer all our goals and get to where we want to be. Thanks for listening. Catch you on the next episode. Do not forget to live every moment and leave no room for regrets. Remember to follow this channel so you get notification whenever I drop a new episode. Thank you. Bye.